All right, welcome back to the show, folks, where you got the pearls of talk show decadence. That would be me, Christopher Hart, Lucas Paris in the studio, and Nicholas Cicero on the bridge. All right, we got some good news, bad news stories that I'll close it out with here tonight. What should I start with? The bad news? Let's go with
the bad news first. Yeah. That way we can end on a good note.
I like that idea. I like that idea. Before we get to that, though, I just want to once again welcome Jerry Shepard of Jerry's Mercedes-Benz Service to the American Adversaries Army Task Force. Of course, Jerry was on our show last Thursday, and he'll be back again in the future, a regular basis. And it's a great shop they have over there. If you have a Mercedes-Benz, you need to know Jerry Shepard. Jerry'sMB.com is their website. That's Jerry'sMB.com. Their dealership alternative service center. When I say dealership alternative, I mean by that you'll get the same quality service, even better service at the best price, and they'll beat the dealership price hands down every time. They're located just off Alafaya Trail, just north of UCF, on a street called Econ Circle. But if you want to give them a call, you can do that at 407-366-6499. That's Jerry's Mercedes-Benz Service, 407-366-6499. Once again, want to give him a big thank you for being a part of our American Adversaries Army Task Force. By the way, you can also be a part of the American Adversaries Army. You don't have to be a sponsor, although if you'd like to come in that way, we'll take that too. But if you just would like to join the American Adversaries Army, all you have to do is go to our website, AmericanAdversariesRadio.com to enlist in the Army. Just go to the recruiting office. You can either sign up right there online, or you can do it through the mail, the old snail mail way. Either way is fine with us. We'd just love to have you be a part of the Army. Don't forget, if you come out 2 weeks from today to Cafe Positano for our live remote broadcast and potty, we're going to have a big old wing ding over there, shindig, whatever you want to call it. Come on down. If you are a member of the Army, you will get a free T-shirt with our great logo on it, made by My Liberty Threads. American made, America proud. MyLibertyThreads.com is where you can find that stuff. Okay. The good news, the bad news. The bad news is that Gallup just released a poll about our views on marriage, and it turns out that the younger you are, the less likely you are to see marriage in your near-term future anyway. The older you are, the more traditional we are, so to speak. For the age group 18 to 29, they are not necessarily marrying at any less of a rate, and it's been low for some time now. But the new thing is that the 18 to 29s are not even living together as much anymore. You know, substitute for marriage is living together, so to speak, if you want to call it.
Even that's reducing
even that
now.
Right. And part of that probably has to do with a lot of people living at home with mama and papa still, but a lot of it they think also has to do with millennials just not getting into any sort of committed relationship. The same holds true for the 29 to 45 age group. They are seeing more single people, not just not married, but now more also single people in that group. But once again, not quite as much as in the younger group. And then the older you go, 45 and up, the traditional marriage seems to be still the mainstay. So that's a little bit of good news in amongst not terribly bad news, but we're going in the wrong direction. That there's no question about that.
Firmer foundations were built farther back.
Yep, but that is, as I said, the bad news in terms of our views towards family. But there's better news when it comes to our views toward life. Evidently, at least life in the womb. This was in today's Orlando Sentinel. Abortions have declined in nearly all states since 2010, a survey says. And this survey says that in states where there have been new laws making it harder to have abortions, they are down. But also in states where abortion rights laws have not been changed, they are also down. And so what this tells us is that there is an attitudinal change. It's not so much a law, it's not so much a legal legislative thing as it is an attitudinal change. And when you get right down to it, that's the only way you're going to solve these problems. And take prohibition, for instance. You can make anything you want illegal. But unless
still get about it.
Unless you change people's attitudes about actually doing it, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It does not matter. It all gets down to the attitude. And then we must ask ourselves, well, who is better at changing the attitude? According to this, it is not the government. Oh. Because the same thing has happened in states where the laws have not been changed. Something else is at play here. And I think what that something else is it's the arguments. It's the evidence that we now have about how early in the gestation period life is actually viable outside the womb, much less inside the womb. How early on in the gestation period you can detect a heartbeat. How early on you can discern hands with fingers and feet with toes. It's very early on. And that's what's changing people's minds and hearts and attitudes, which is changing their behavior. It is not the law. The law is the last resort. When you have to go to the government and get a law made, you've already lost. You are admitting you have lost the battle. You have lost the intellectual argument. So now we're going to make it illegal, and we'll put it in the police's. We'll lay it in their laps. Yeah, now it's up to you to go out and do. Yeah. It's your problem now, not ours anymore.
Passing the buck.
It's passing the buck is really what it boils down to. And groups who get out, and like John Barrows, who we had on the show last week, where he goes every day and he stands out there in front of that Butcher Pendergrass's clinic down there, and he just simply asks girls to come over, women to come over and say, listen, there's another alternative I'd like you to consider. Can we pray? And by God Almighty, he makes a difference. I guarantee you, every legislator up there in Tallahassee, walking around with his piece of paper, thumping his chest, saying, "Vote for me! Look at me! I got your interest." That ain't worth nothing. Because if that girl wants an abortion, it don't matter if it's legal or not. If that person wants to do heroin, it don't matter if it's legal or not. You got to get to them. You got to get to their heart. And you can't do it by just going to the legislature and outlawing it. You're just, as Lucas said, you're just passing the buck. You just, here, somebody else deal with it. Don't want to deal with this. You see?
It's part of the rebellious human nature, though. We want things that are restricted anyway. So
well,
restrict the freedom, people are going to want to get it any which way they can.
That's a whole other argument.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is abortions have declined in almost all 50 states since 2010, and the biggest decrease in abortion percentage-wise was in Hawaii, where they fell from 3,064 in 2010 to 2,147 in 2014. That's a drop of about 30%.
That's a change of heart right there.
And it didn't have anything to do with any new laws in how are you out there.
Something happened here and something happened here. Yeah.
That's right. And Lucas just pointed to his head and his heart. Okay, don't forget tomorrow night, Colonel Danny McKnight's going to be with us along with Mike McBath, and I hope you'll be with us too. And please tell all your friends and family about us, and please come out and join us. Even Lucas is going to be there in 2 weeks, right, Lucas?
Yes, I will.
He was there the last time. He had the periscope up and running out.
Rain or storm, I will be there.
He will be there. That's right. So we certainly hope you folks will join us 2 weeks from tonight, Cafe Positano. We'd love to meet each and every one of you who will come out. We'd love to have you join our Army so I can give away a bunch of T-shirts that night. Okay, that's going to do it for tonight. Once again, thanks for listening. And for Lucas, for Nick, good night, everybody.